Hello, everybody. Hey, welcome into the show. Thanks for stopping in. You are listening to the OnlyBets Sports Betting Podcast. Alongside your co-host, SternBets, I am PrinceOfPicks. Hey, thanks for stopping by. We really appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in. Before we get started here on some official business we got to take care of here before we get into the picks. If you guys can do us a solid, those of you who are listening to us on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify, please just takes 1 minute. If you can go ahead and give us a quick rating, review, subscribe, like, and review. That would help us a lot here with the algorithm in terms of getting this show more visible to more people. And also helping the growth of the podcast as well. So you guys have been great with the downloads. The downloads are amazing, outstanding progress here that we're making in just our first week of this podcast. So thanks for everything that you guys have been doing in terms of supporting us. But this is just an additional way that you guys can really help us get this thing off the ground here. Again, it only takes about less than 60 seconds of your time. If you guys are able to do that, we'll continue to give, 30 minutes plus of our time to try to get you as many winning picks as we can. So once again, just head on over to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, give us a quick 5-star rating. Go ahead and hit that follow button, subscribe button to the podcast, and then just go ahead and write a quick review if you can. Doesn't have to be anything long. Could do something as simple as winning team, great picks, awesome show, something along those lines. But anything that you guys can do, again, will help with the visibility and the algorithm here, getting this channel out to more people. So with that being said, I am going to go ahead and hand it over to my co-host, Mr. SternBets, Mr. Mosh. What's going on,
Hey,
brother? How we doing?
Good morning to you. Well, we had quite the day yesterday. You had a 3-0 sweep, I believe. Granted, it was a 3-0-1. You had one push, but hey, listen, no losses on the day is a pretty solid way to start.
Absolutely. Yep. We went 3-0-1. So the one push we had was a little bit of a flyer there. We took Leon on a -1 handicap. I thought they had some chances for sure to get a second goal in there, which I know you were looking at Leon team total over 1.5 as well. So unfortunately, they weren't able to get more than one, but we still got on the money line and we hit the other two plays as well. That we gave out on the show. So yeah, nice little 3-0 sweep in the Europa League. Today's going to be a little bit lighter in the soccer picks here. Kind of a lighter day in general around the world in terms of soccer and the landscape, but we got a couple of the sports plays that we'll be hitting you with as well. So looking forward to getting into that here in a little bit.
Yeah, and next to your 3-0 day, I had a 1-1 day. The Oilers in the NHL. I don't know what happened. They got crushed by Pittsburgh 6-2. I even sprinkled live in that one, thinking that they would come back, but no dice. And 76ers came through though, so I'm 3-0 this week on my NBA picks. That was really fun. I went out to the bar with a few friends of mine, and we were watching in Philadelphia. And I mean, the game was back and forth, and went into overtime. And just being in a bar in Philadelphia with hardcore Philly fans, that's just where you want to be. It's a great experience, and if you haven't experienced it, go out and do it, man.
Big win for the Sixers. Obviously Houston, like I said, we're talking about them earlier. They're a little bit of a slump right now, but they're absolutely a title contender. I think they're gonna once the playoffs come around, they'll be ready to go. So huge win for the Sixers. Sixers really been kind of just. They've been surprising to me, to be honest with you. I wasn't sure what they were going to be with Joel Embiid and Paul George kind of being in and out of the lineup, but like I alluded to before, Tyrese Maxey has just been outstanding, taking this team to a whole other level. Is really just taking the reins over on this team. So him and VJ Edgecombe have kind of been like holding down the fort here, while Joel Embiid and Paul George are in and out of the lineup. But excellent win for them last night, and let's see if they can continue that momentum here.
Yeah, and another team that you alluded to, both of our leans yesterday went through. I had a lean on Houston in college basketball that came through by 20 points, and you had a lean on the Clippers over the Lakers. Was it a lean or was it an official pick?
No, that was an official pick. I gave that out here. I forgot to send that one to you. So really, you could say we went 4-0 because that was an official pick. So realistically, it went 4-0, went 3-0 in the Europa League, and then went 1-0 on the NBA pick. So gave that out in the VIP channel as well. So yeah, Clippers have just like I alluded to before. They've just been owning the Lakers. It's just a matchup that I don't know if it's psychological. I'm not sure what it is, but It's the Clippers whenever they play each other. So it happened again last night, and like I said, Lakers are in trouble. I just don't really I don't trust that team. Now they're asking LeBron if he wants to be traded, if he wants to be with the Lakers. Reporters were asking him that last night after the game. It's just crazy. It's just Hollywood to the max right now in LA. So yeah, whenever there's that much stuff going on, that's just a team that me personally that I look to fade. So yeah,
Yeah.
a great hit there.
When there's drama in Philly, in Indianapolis, or in LA, it can't be good for your team. But let's keep it in the hard court for now. Do you have any previews or look ahead spots in the NBA tonight? We have a very solid slate tonight. We have some heavy hitters. Excited to get into it. Got anything for us?
Yeah, so actually, the majority of my plays that I'm going to be giving out today are actually going to be in the NBA. So I've got about, I think I got what I got three plays here I got for the NBA tonight. So I do have one soccer play, but we can go ahead and get into NBA. Did you want to start off there?
Yeah, let's just keep it in the NBA as we're talking about it.
Sure.
I was looking at this Kings Cavs game, thinking that hey, I kind of want to take the Kings here, but I don't know. Just wanted to hear your thoughts. You're the residential NBA expert, so bring us in.
Yeah, that's a tricky one for me because both teams I don't really trust right now. Cavs is more so for the fact that they've just been underperforming. Kings, I don't think anyone really expected them to be good, so they're just kind of doing exactly what people projected. But I think last time I looked, it was a 11 and a half, 12 and a half point spread in favor of the Cavs, which right now I don't feel comfortable laying that many points with a Cleveland team that's just kind of all over the place. So for me, I'd probably look maybe more at a total in this one. Maybe the total over here. As I pull up here, I got to see what exactly our current odds are for that game. But I'm looking at maybe more on the total side because Cleveland, on the defensive side, I mean, they gave up 130 something to OKC the other day.
Yeah, but
So
that's
this
OKC, right?
it's OKC, yeah, but at the same time, it's OKC, right? Like I was alluding to before, OKC, they're not known as an excellent offensive team. They're known more so for their defensive side of things. So the fact that the Thunder put up 138 points, they're not really a run and gun team. They're not a team that can just light it up at any given moment. So the fact that they gave up that many points to them is a little bit concerning for me, considering that OKC Laser had more so on the defensive side. And I'm looking at the line right now. So we got a spread of 11 and a half here in favor of the Cavs. Total sitting at 233 and a half. I probably lean more towards the total here. I do think Sacramento with Levine and DeRozan. Now we do have to check the injury reports, which last I checked they were not released yet at the time that we're doing this here. So a little bit tricky. Hopefully everyone's playing, but assuming that we have two fully healthy rosters here, then you're looking at DeMar DeRozan, Zach Levine. I do think they can get up points here. Malik Monk has been great. I'm not sure what his situation is, but again, assuming all systems are go here for the Kings, I think they can put up points. But they're also not very good defensively, so that's why I probably look more so at the total in this one. But again, for me officially, I'd need to see an injury report to make anything official for me on that one.
Yeah, I hear if you or anybody wants to play a sprinkle here, I put $10 on it, which is less than a sprinkle. Usually, when I say sprinkle on the show, I'm talking about a quarter unit, which is $25 for me personally. Cavaliers first half money line parlay with the Kings on the spread. I thought that was a fun look. The Cavs, after a day of rest, look intimidating in the first half of games, as we saw just 2 days ago or 3 days ago when I had them. And you're right. I think the Kings can push the score a little bit, but kind of like the Cavs, at least in the first half of this. But yeah, bring us into your best bet in the NBA. Here, there, anywhere.
Yeah, so first up here, yeah, we're gonna go to a different game here. We got a 7:30 p.m. Eastern tip, where we have the Phoenix Suns heading over to Atlanta taking on the Hawks here. Again, I don't have an injury report at this time, so I'm not able to give you any for sure injuries. But assuming both teams are healthy here, we're gonna look at the stats here, some of the trends. Phoenix comes into this one, sorry, as the number one team ATS in the league. They are covering the spread at a 71% clip right now in the NBA, which is by far the best in the league. When you're looking at the second best team, that's Boston. They're at 59%. So the Suns are a good 12% ahead of the covering the spread here in the league. So Suns are an ATS machine right now. On the road as a favorite, the Suns are 7-1 ATS. So not only are they just good in general, but they're even better on the road as a road favorite. And they're in great form right now. They've won 3 straight. Atlanta on the other side, they've lost 4 of their last 5. So I think everything's lining up here for a convincing Suns win here. I will take them here. Phoenix Suns minus 2.5 on the spread. That one's going to be at minus 118. You got any thoughts on that?
I think that if the Suns are going to win, which I think is probably likely, the 2.5 spread is just a gift. You know.
Exactly. Yeah, 100%. Right. I mean, I don't see this one being like a nail biter. Now I will say a little caveat: Atlanta did beat them earlier in the season. That game was in Phoenix. They beat them. What was it, 124 to 122? So it was a close win. But I just think Phoenix is rolling right now. Atlanta's kind of all over the place. So for me, considering how great Phoenix is at covering the spread and how great they are at covering the spread as a road favorite, I'm gonna ride with them on this one tonight.
Yeah, and if you take out the last 2 games, which they played tough, they beat Memphis right by 2 points. They lost to Milwaukee by 2 points, which we're going to get to later. I have a problem with Milwaukee. We talked about this last night. The previous 3 games, they lost by over a margin of 20 points to the Lakers, Trailblazers, and Celtics. To be fair, some of that isn't necessarily their fault. Celtics are dominant, but it doesn't look good once the dam breaks.
No, and that's the problem. It's not that they're just getting they're losing, but they're getting beat down by teams that they shouldn't be getting beat down by. So, yeah, Atlanta's just they're a weird team right now. I don't know what to make of them. Ever since they traded Trae Young, I mean, everyone thought that they were going to be a better team, but it really hasn't panned out that way so far. So, TBD on them. But yeah, I'm all over the Suns for right now.
I love it. I love it. Bring us into your next best bet.
Yeah, so next up, we're going to go to another 7:30 p.m. Eastern tip. This one we got the Boston Celtics heading over to Brooklyn, taking on the Nets. We were looking at an injury report here. I do see one injury. Well, not real an injury, but it's Derek White. He's going to be out due to rest. So he will not be playing tonight. Other than that, I don't really have any other information in terms of the injury report. But what I can tell you is that Boston is 64% ATS as a road favorite this season. But not only that, but they have actually won 9 straight in Brooklyn. And they have won those games by an average of 15 points. So Boston has just been demolishing the Nets in Brooklyn over recent history here. And of course, Brooklyn's coming off that 50-plus point beatdown to the Knicks. So look, for me, right? And a lot of times you'll see, like a big blowout, and you'll say, okay, that is the team good enough, right? They're going to make a response in the next game. For me, I don't think Brooklyn's good enough. I don't feel comfortable enough to say, okay, this Brooklyn Nets team has the roster to be able to make a substantial statement here against another great team in Boston. Boston is an excellent team. Boston's been, owning the Nets here recently in Brooklyn. So for me, I don't see Brooklyn here being able to make a solid response. Basically, I just don't think their roster is good enough. So I'm going to take the Celtics here. I'll take them on the spread minus 8.5. I think they win this one comfortably by double digits. We're going to get that one at minus 105. You got anything for that?
Yeah, this was actually the first play that I was going to look at. I did get scared off because of the performance against the Knicks. Usually, when you get beat down by 50 points and you have a day of rest, you can kind of figure out a game plan. But these Celtics are no joke.
Oh
I,
no,
I
no, they're not. No, they're not. That's the thing. That's the thing. Sorry to cut you off, but that's the thing. The Celtics are an excellent team, and Brooklyn, I just think roster wise, they're just on a different level, right? So that's like my thing is to your point. Usually it is the case, right? When a team gets beat down by that, they come back with the response the next game. I don't trust Brooklyn to be good enough to do that. I just don't trust. I don't feel comfortable enough to say, yeah, Brooklyn has the talent to be able to make a real statement against Boston. So, but go ahead and continue. Sorry.
no, not at all. There is significant money coming in against the Celtics for the Nets. So I'm personally going to take a money line look here, parlay that with something else that I like. We'll get into that a little later.
Okay, nice tease. All right, then let's go ahead and get into my final NBA play tonight. This is one that we did talk about last night. I'll go ahead and cover it here on the show. We got a 9:30 p.m. Eastern tip where the Denver Nuggets are going to be heading to bitter cold Milwaukee here, taking on the Bucks. Again, we don't have an injury report at the time of this show, but what I can tell you again for this one, Denver, we're looking at ATS here. They are 6-1 against the spread here as a road dog. So Denver, just an outstanding form here, covering the spreads. Meanwhile, Milwaukee on the other side, they're just 40% ATS as a home favorite. But even worse, they are just 26% against the spread versus the Western Conference are the Milwaukee Bucks. So again, we were talking about this last night privately, me and Stern. But Milwaukee for me is one of those teams that is just on my auto fade list until further notice, right? For me, you got the Knicks on that list, you got the Cavs on that list, you got the Bucks on that list. And the Lakers are sort of on that list as well. So all these teams that have a lot of turmoil, a lot of outside noise, a lot of distractions. Milwaukee's one of those teams, right? They're just is Doc Rivers the right coach? For me, I think he's one of the more overrated coaches in NBA history. Outside of riding the coattails of Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, and Ray Allen with the Celtics back in '09 when they won their championship. What has he done? I mean, that was 17 years ago. And what has he done before then? What has he done after then? So for me, I don't think he's really the guy to turn this thing around. I think Giannis sees that. I think Giannis sees that this team stinks, and he wants out. And you're not used to seeing a bitter Giannis, and that's what we're seeing right now. You're used to seeing a motivational Giannis, an upbeat Giannis, somebody who always tries to look at the bright side of things. And now you look at some of his comments, and you can tell he's over it. He's on his way out. He's trying everything he can to kind of get his way out of there. So when you got that going on, when your superstar doesn't want to be there, I mean, that's just a tough environment to play in. And so Milwaukee is just not a very good roster right now. We got Denver on the other side. I mean, championship pedigree. And look at how Peyton Watson, I mean, shout out to Peyton Watson. Unbelievable how he has been playing ever since Jokic went out. I mean, this guy has really come out of nowhere and just completely stepped it up. He's playing at an all-star level right now. So I think, him kind of taking that role that Jamal Murray had with Jokic, and now it's him and Jamal Murray, right? He's kind of the 1A to Jamal Murray right now. So with him playing the way that he's playing, Jamal Murray, still balling out the way that he has been doing. You got a team with the championship pedigree, and they're showing that they're a deep roster. I mean, everyone thought they were going to fall apart without Jokic. Everyone thought this team was completely Jokic centric, and they're showing everyone that they're not. That they're actually a quality team. They're capable of going out there and winning games without Jokic. So you're going to give me 6.5 points with that team, with that pedigree, with that kind of roster against a Milwaukee team that's just all over the place, and everyone seems like they'd rather be anywhere else except Milwaukee. I'll take the Nuggets all day. So give me the Nuggets here on the 6.5 point spread at -115.
Yeah, and like you said, we talked about this last night. I messaged you, and I'm like, "Is there a reason why the Nuggets are getting 5.5?" And at the line at the time was 5.5, and I was like, "Is there a reason why the Nuggets are getting 5.5 at the Bucks?" I don't understand. The Bucks are just losing to bad teams. They are not being competitive. They're not doing what they need to do. Even without Jokic, whatever. I did not see it. So I actually took this line at 5.5. I definitely like it at 6.5. I would call this a fully sponsored podcast play. Across the
Yeah,
board.
yeah. Double backing here. Yeah, I mean, to everything you just said. I mean, this is just a when you got these teams that have all this smoke and all this distractions outside of or the organization and within. It's hard. It's hard to go on. You're going on these road trips. You're traveling across the country. You got a grueling season, and all you hear about is how much your superstar doesn't want to be there, and how much all these reports of your coach not being the right coach, and this guy and that guy doesn't like playing for the team, and blah 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 blah. It just weighs on you after a while, and I'm sure at some point it's going to affect your performance, and that seems to have happened with the Bucks. Not to mention, you just look at the roster; it's just not a very good roster. Like at some point, you got to have the horses, and Milwaukee just doesn't. And so again, with the Denver team that's just been playing out of their minds here recently, everybody's just stepped up and really showing what kind of team that they are. So Denver for me all day.
Yeah, totally agree. You got one more best bet for us in the NBA before I head into my best bet in the NBA?
No, for the NBA, that's all I got for right now.
All right, then I'm happy that I can give us one more pick here. I'm taking the game. The Pacers are visiting the Oklahoma City Thunder. I don't understand. Well, I do understand, but the line is minus 15 and a half. It just came down from minus 16 and a half on the Oklahoma City Thunder, and I'm going to take it. There's nothing that tells me that the Pacers are going to be competitive here. Nothing. They just lost by 20 something points to the Celtics. And honestly, I don't know if they're going to fare better here. I'm just going to take it. There's no reason not to. I don't see it. I don't see a way where after 4 quarters that the Pacers are going to remain competitive. And I know that you've talked about this. 15 and a half is a massive spread, but I think it's warranted here. And I don't think that they get it at all. Got any
So,
thoughts?
so if there was ever a spot where I might consider breaking my policy, this would be one of those spots because I tend to agree with you. I mean, I looked at this game for a while, to be honest with you, and I was trying to find an angle that I felt comfortable with. I was looking at the team total for the Pacers. It was sitting at 104. That was just a little too low for me. I mean, I could absolutely, see them struggling to get to 100, but I just didn't feel comfortable with that. I was looking at the game total over, but then, Thunder did just put up 130 something against the Cavs the other night. So I was a little worried about that. And again, I just don't feel comfortable taking 15 and a half, 16 and a half point spreads in the NBA. Once again, these are all professionals, and when you least expect it, you can see these guys really turn up and have a big game. And on the other side, a lot of times when you're like the 16 point, 17-point favorite, sometimes you let your guard down. Again, it's a long season, right? It's hard to be 100% every night. So a lot of times you'll see kind of teams who are heavily favored maybe take their foot off the gas and kind of, coast and get a comfortable win, but maybe have a hard time covering a large spread. So if anything, I guess the way I would look at this is maybe like a Indiana first half, maybe OKC comes out slow, and kind of just like, oh, all we got to do is show up and we'll win, right? Because a lot of times you'll see that specifically in the NBA. And so if I were to look at anything for this one, it would probably be more towards that, or something along lines of the total. But I struggle with this one. I'm not gonna lie. Everything on paper says that Thunder should win by probably 25, 30 points. But again, it's the NBA, and anything can happen. So I'm going to stay away from the spread for me, but I totally get why you take it.
Yeah, it just felt comfortable for me seeing the recent performances of each team. But any other thoughts in the NBA before we move on to the NHL? We are also going to cover a little bit in the MMA and the NFL preview because we are not going to have a show Saturday or Sunday of this week. Any other thoughts?
I don't have anything else for the NBA. I do have one play for soccer. If we want to go ahead and get into that,
Yeah, let's get into that
and
first.
then
Yeah.
we'll get into the NHL. So my only play for soccer today is going to be in the German Bundesliga. We got a 2:30 p.m. Eastern kickoff today, where St. Pauli are going to be taking on Hamburg. We're looking at the table here. Both of these teams are towards the bottom of the table here in the Bundesliga. St. Pauli, they're actually dead last, 18th place right now, sitting on just 12 points. Hamburg, though, not much better. They're 14th place. They're sitting on just 17 points. So both teams have coming into this one really struggling here in the Bundesliga. Both teams are absolutely in contention to be relegated to the second division. But having said that, here we're looking at Hamburg. They have only one more win than St. Pauli on the season. So although there's a 5 point gap between them, there's really only a one victory gap between those two teams. So that's saying that there's really not that much difference between the two sides here. But where we really see the discrepancy is in their current form. Hamburg, they are winless in 9 straight away matches. So this is a team that just does not get any points on the road. Meanwhile, St. Pauli, they are undefeated in 3 of their last 4 home matches. So St. Pauli has been kind of stepping it up here at home. And against a team that hasn't won a single away match in 9 matches straight. I like St. Pauli here on a draw no bet. St. Pauli, they're undefeated head-to-head in 11 out of their last 15 against Hamburg. So not only are they in good form at home, but they're also in good form in the head-to-head versus Hamburg. So I think this is a spot here where maybe St. Pauli can get a rare win in the Bundesliga. They're playing against a team that's been really struggling on the road. So I'm going to take St. Pauli here on a draw, no bet. I get push insurance here. If it's a draw, we get our money back. We get that at about minus 110. Do you have any kind of thoughts on that at all?
No, I love fading the public though, and you know what? Bundesliga is one of our favorite leagues. They're great for late scoring, just like the EPL. And if you start to see a cagey match, look for it to open up towards the ending few minutes of either the first half or the full game.
Absolutely. Okay, let's go ahead and get to the NHL.
Yeah, we have some interesting games coming up. Tampa Bay at Chicago. The real story here is Mitch Marner returning to Toronto, and this was going to be my play if I wasn't so cold in the NHL. When I say so cold, I'm 1-1 this week, so not really going to push it here. So this is not a play for me, but I do lean with the Vegas Golden Knights and or the over 6. I think both were solid looks, both pricing at around minus 110, minus 115. But it's just going to be a good, hard night tonight on the ice. The Flyers at Avalanche is something that I was looking at. You don't have any thoughts or anything on the NHL, do you?
No, thanks for asking, but no, I don't. I'll tell whatever you say.
That's fair. I'm going to wait for Squishy to put out his play, but I am going to seriously look at the Knights on the money line and possibly the over. Those are the looks that I was kind of going for. We have some really kind of crazy tennis action. Not that anyone's interested in that, but we have Carlos Alcaraz, and I say no one. I mean from within our circular betting world, who we're immediately attached to. Novak Djokovic is playing. Carlos Alcaraz, Coco Gauff, Ariana Sablanka. There is some solid heavy hitter names in the world of tennis. If you're interested, please go check that out. But the big news is UFC 324, the first UFC event now streaming on Paramount Plus, and I'm very excited to see what they do with it. It's probably going to be similar to ESPN's takeover of the NFL show, the Red Zone, right, where they show all the touchdowns every single Sunday. So the first episode, the first show, the first match is probably going to be very minimal changes. And then as the season progresses, they're probably going to add in more and more. But expect to see a lot of Paramount Plus advertising. I am going to the marquee match here with Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett. Now, this is going to be possibly very scary on both sides. Pimblett has been known to take some punches, right? But overall, he is a much more advanced veteran fighter. I think that he is going to get a submission attempt or two on Gaethje, who lost in his last two championship title bouts. He lost twice, two grapplers in submission. So if you want to get more granular, I think Pimblett by submission is a good look. I am personally going to take Pimblett money line, parlayed with the Celtics money line at minus 120 on DK for a half a unit, and that's my best bet. Outside of our NBA play, where we had a blowout expected against the Pacers. Do you have any thoughts on this title match?
You know what? I don't. I to be honest, I don't really follow the UFC that closely, so I will definitely defer to you on that one. But I do kind of have it kind of speaks to a little bit of a larger point. It's kind of unrelated to sports betting and everything. But as a boxing fan here, I'm a big time boxing fan myself. So as a boxing fanatic, I would say it's a little unfortunate to me to see or not maybe not unfortunate, but just apparent to me to see the shift in public attention more so towards UFC as opposed to boxing. What I mean by that is boxing had a contract with ESPN, Top Rank Boxing, which was on ESPN over the last 5 years. That contract ended a few months ago, and there is nowhere you can watch boxing matches other than pay-per-view right now. And so other than DAZN, right, which is a subscription-based channel, but that's kind of, they show mostly pay-per-view events on that channel anyway. So, but yeah, there's no network that you can tune into to watch boxing matches, and now Paramount Plus is scooping up the UFC MMA here. It just goes to show just kind of the shift, how UFC is kind of taken over boxing here. But it used to always boxing was the number one combat sport in America and in the world, and now it seems to be UFC. So kind of sad to see how boxing just seems to be kind of getting kicked to the curb here a little bit. Hopefully somebody will pick them up, and that'd be awesome if we could get that same kind of service for boxing that we get for UFC. But in any case, yeah, I'll be telling that bet for sure for tonight for sure.
Yeah, it's tough. You know, the UFC came out. Dana White has done an incredible job at making it the premier event in, fighting is sports. It just is. And boxing did not wanted to remain traditional, did not want to move on with the times, and now they're struggling to keep up. Now, internationally, you still have a huge fandom for boxing, and I think it still is there. And it definitely, and I think in the next few years, we're probably going to see some changes to try to bring it out more into the public eye. And I think you've seen this with these little bouts with these YouTubers. Sorry if you don't want to call them YouTubers, but with all these little matches, these one-offs, they're trying to get it back in the public eye, and I think it's coming. It's coming. The change where we're going to start seeing that more in our eye line.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but for the UFC, isn't it? It's kind of like a season, though, right? Is it? It's not just an event here and an event there. Is it? It's kind of like a prolonged season. Am I right about that, or is it just like an event, one off here and there?
There are technical seasons, I believe. I'm not an expert in this. There are other MMA leagues that are more of like a season where you fight a set amount of times and you go through a roster and you have to beat everybody in order to be the champion, or at least to beat in a tournament matchup style. The UFC, I believe, is more whoever is the title winner at the end of the year is basically just the title winner. I might be wrong on that. I really just enjoy watching the matches and then looking at the analysis. I'm building a website right now where I'm able to get pretty in-depth details on all of their matches, each fighter's matches. So I kind of use that for my analysis. But I think it's coming into more of a structured league type setting, and in the past and right now I don't think it is.
Yeah, well, the only reason I ask that is because in boxing, technically, there is kind of like, I don't want to call it a season, but there is like a structure, right? You have a top 10 contenders for each, belt within each confederation. And so, I would like to see something more along the lines of a season, right? That would be, kind of more easily accessible on linear television. And to your point, I mean, I do think boxing's in a good place globally, right? You got all the Saudi money coming in. I forgot what his name is, Al Sheikh, whatever his name is. The guy, he puts together these massive fights, 4 or 5 fights on a card that would typically be their own card. So he's got undercards that are like main events. But that's only 2-3 times a year, so those are like one-off big events. But it would just be nice to see something a little bit more consistent for boxing. I mean, I think there's just so much tradition around boxing. Again, just as a boxing fanatic, I hate to see it kind of getting pushed aside here. But hopefully something changes for the boxing landscape, because there's a lot of talented fighters out there. There's a lot of just a lot of names that people don't know about, that are just that could really make a wealthy living for themselves if given the opportunity. So, but anyway, yeah, shout out to UFC, and let's see what Paramount does with UFC. I think that's awesome for them for sure.
Yeah. And I'm interested to see how they compete with I think it's called the PFL, which is the more structured MMA league. And I think Coach was actually doing some stuff with them. But let's move on to the NFL. This is going to be our preview show for the NFL on Sunday. We have the AFC and NFC championships. We have some incredible games. The Patriots are taking on the Broncos in their home field. significant home field advantage, and the Rams are taking on the Seahawks, also significant home field advantage. Before I get into it, do you have any looks, picks, or thoughts on these two games for this coming Sunday?
Yeah, so just preliminary thoughts. I haven't really dug into the numbers yet. I wanted to wait until this weekend to kind of get a better feel for what I want to where I want to go with these games. But if I were to look at we'll look at the AFC first. Denver and New England. I mean, of course, I think probably everyone is on the under here. I don't think there's going to be a ton of points in this one. You got two excellent defensive teams here, and of course you got Jared Stidham, who is making his first start, I believe, in 3 years. Now, what I will say about Stidham, I think everyone's out on him, and I think you do that at your own peril, right? And now he's a veteran quarterback; he's been around, so I don't think he's going to struggle quite as much as people think he will. It'd be different if this was like a rookie or somebody without a lot of experience. But Jared Stidham's been around; he's been around NFL teams, he's been around NFL organizations, he's been on the field numerous times. So I don't think he's going to be necessarily rattled by the moment. The problem for me is, will he be rattled by New England's defense? And he might be, because New England's defense is that good. I mean, Vrabel has got those guys flying around the field. They are just outstanding in almost every metric that you can think of defensively. And so, the only advantage that Denver does have is that they're up in Mile High and the altitude there, so that will help them out a little bit. But I don't know. I struggle with this one. I think you probably have to lean a little bit more towards the Patriots side, obviously, just because they have a little bit more stability at the quarterback position. But for me personally, I'm probably looking more at the in under on the total on that one. Again, I just think I think points are going to be hard to come by here with two smash mouth defensive teams. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, I think you're spot on. This matchup features the two top defenses in the league. You have New England that ranks third in points allowed per game, and Denver, who ranks fourth in opponents' points per game, right? And Stidham has solid praise coming from him from his head coach, Sean Payton. He said his arm is very accurate with a lot to his ball. He's been in the system for 3 years now and should slide in nicely. When you're in a team for 3 years, you know the system, you know the playbook, you know the players, you know how to fit in. And if someone who is very accurate can just step in and make the throws and let their run game, to establish the run game and just kind of play along with that low scoring, kind of fast moving type of game, I think that they do have a shot, right?
Yeah, if you don't mind me cutting you off real quick, to that point, you look at Bo Nix and you look at Jared Stidham, right? Is there really that much of a drop off between Bo Nix and Jared Stidham? To
So
me, I don't think so. But go ahead.
I respectfully, I think, disagree. And I think that the difference here, and I'm not going to say he's not going to run, but the difference is the legs.
Sure,
We saw
mobility.
time.
Sure, mobility, 100%. I'm
We
with you.
saw time and time again Bo Nix using his legs to get out of sticky situations on second, third, and fourth down, right? And he just ran for 10 to 20 yards, and he got out and he made plays with his legs against a very very playing really well Bills defense, right? And I don't know if Stidham is going to be able to replicate that success. I think he's going to run. I think that his rushing total is a very solid look, but I don't think that he's going to be able to use his legs to the same amount that Nix is. And honestly, coming in out of the cold, pun kind of intended, the Patriots play a very nice defensive schemes where they disguise the ball really well and they can force turnovers. Now, I think the same is true for the Broncos, right? Against May, who has shown some trouble with keeping the ball. But at the end of the day, I know that that the spread is -4.5 on the Patriots, but I'm going to buy it sink, line, and hooker. I might have said that in the wrong order. I just think that the Patriots play bully ball way more successfully than the Broncos will be able to, using May's legs to really move the ball down. And if the Patriots are able to shut down RJ Harvey and Cortland Sutton, who will definitely be the number one look for Stidham, I don't know if the Broncos are going to be able to play one dimensionally. Now, the same is true on the other side, where the Broncos are going to try to shut down the Patriots, right, and make them one dimensional too, and force the ball in May's arm. But honestly, I'm way more comfortable with the ball in May's arm than I am with Stidham, and I think that this game will probably be close up until halftime, maybe through the third quarter. And then in the fourth quarter, New England will use their bully ball mentality, right, just to get over that touchdown. And I think that if you can get the Broncos with under a touchdown, the Patriots under a touchdown over the Broncos, I think that's the right move. Even if we are expecting a lower scoring game, which usually means just take the points, right?
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, I think if I were to look at, what is the key component here offensively, right? In terms of success here and having a chance to win this game, because of just how great both defenses are, I think it might come down to which quarterback is more mobile, right? Which quarterback can kind of get out of the pocket, make some plays when the line breaks down. Because, and to that point, I'd probably go with Drake May on that one, just because we don't know about Jarrett Stidham. We haven't seen him in a while. We have no idea what kind of mobility he has. But Drake May has shown that he can definitely scoot when he needs to. So I think it may end up coming down to that. When you got two ferocious defenses here that are just going to want to lock each other down, it might come down to kind of making those playground backyard plays and seeing who can kind of get out of the pocket and get some yards with their legs when you were not expecting it. So yeah, it's going to be a really tough one for sure. I think it's going to be played in the trenches. It's going to be played in the mud, if you will, metaphorically speaking. So
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. And my last 2 points on this game before we go into the Seattle Los Angeles game, then we're going to get into college basketball with our main man Drew. Honestly, if the Patriots are able to score 20 points, I think this game is over.
Yeah, I'm with
So,
you. No, I did. I was talking about that earlier. I think I was mentioning that to a couple buddies of mine. First to 20 wins. I really think that. I mean, I don't see others. I said that last week with the Texans and the Patriots. And that thing went way over. But I just think that this Denver defense is on another level here. And yeah, I just say I find a hard time to see a lot of points here in this one. So I'm with you on that.
yeah, and you want to hear it against this a really nice trend here that backs my play up a little bit. I mean, to be fair, you can always find trends to back any play that you want and any time. But the Patriots are 8-0 straight up on the road this year, and I think that trend kind of continues.
That's an outstanding stat right there. Yep,
Yep,
absolutely.
and back to Drake May. This is my last point on this game. We played this little game. It started on the early edge. It continued to DTL. The first touchdown score at odds over 1,000. We played this. I had 6 in the regular season this year. I had 2 so far in the postseason this year, both actually in the first weekend. Give me Drake May at plus 1,400. Right, I didn't hit this last week, but I think that he can have a lot of success against a really tough defense in Denver. Denver has a top rushing defense, and I think if they get stuck in the red zone, we're going to see him rely on his legs to get out of the sticky situation and run it in. That's kind of my little sprinkle here. I only put $5 on this, full disclosure, so but we're
Yeah,
playing the
those
game. That's my pick.
those first touchdown plays should always be a minimal wagers. But you say you had 6 during the season and 2 in the playoffs. Wow. Yeah, I'm gonna run and tail that bet right now. I'm putting it in as we speak.
Yeah. And they're all verified. They're all in my articles. I never change my articles once the game starts, so you can see that all the accurate information there. So next up is the Rams Seahawks. Now, this is a very interesting game where the Rams were by far, I think, the Super Bowl favorites all year. They had the number 2 defense up until the playoffs. They have the number 1 offense, right? And they dominated the majority of both meetings against the Seahawks this season. Now, it came out 1-1. The Seahawks, right, should have won the first game. They missed the field goal on the final play from a 4 interception night by Sam Darnold. And then the second game, right, Seattle overcame a 16-point deficit to crush the Rams in an overtime 38-37 win. Right? Now, Seattle has played a much easier schedule to end the season. Right? They've only played 1 game in the last 3 weeks. 2 weeks? 3 weeks?
3 weeks.
Yeah, they played the 49ers twice. But Seattle is now the favorite. They have, on paper, they are the best team in the NFL. They have the number 2 scoring offense and the number 1 scoring defense. But one big point for the Rams is they have the veteran QB. They have Matthew Stafford, who is and has seen every single defensive scheme in the entire NFL, right? There's nothing him and McVay haven't seen yet. And they played Seattle already twice. So what new schemes is Seattle going to be able to bring to the table to really change the script here? Now,
Yeah, no, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go on.
No, I agree with you 100%. I mean, for me, full disclosure, I didn't think Seattle was going to be very good this season, so they've absolutely overachieved all my expectations. But at some point, I just kind of think the slipper's going to fall off for Seattle. I'm not sure if they're quite as good as their record says they are. And I think they're going up against a Rams team that has Super Bowl experience, championship experience, Sean McVay, Matthew Stafford. They got the number one wide receiver duo in the league with Puka and Devontae Adams. I mean, you look everywhere positionally, and they've got playmakers all over the field, both offensively and defensively. Now, so does Seattle. But the big difference to me is, do I trust Matthew Stafford or do I trust Sam Darnold? For me, I'm going to take Matthew Stafford, right? I don't know if I can really consistently and comfortably say that, yeah, Sam Darnold is the guy to get it done here and get his team to the Super Bowl. Now, he could prove me wrong. They are at home, so of course they're going to have that excellent home field advantage backing them. But I don't know. I just, something tells me that the Rams are going to get this one done. I just think overall, just with their experience, I think that's going to kind of propel them over the top here. But one play I do like, and you gave this out earlier, I tailed it right away, and I think it's a great look. I really do. I think it's a really sharp look. You gave it a parlay with the Patriots -2.5, and was it Seattle +7.5? I really like that play a lot because not only do I think the Patriots could win that one by a field goal, but I also think this Rams Seahawks game is going to be decided by 7 points or less. So I think that's a really good look that you had there. So I just wanted to give you a shout out on that. But what are your thoughts on this one? Anything else you got?
Thanks, man. Yeah, I do think that this game, like all the others, will be decided by one score in either direction. And I think that the popular sentiment is to take the points with the Rams, which I think is a sharp play. I do. The only problem is the Rams have won the last two games in the postseason by just 3 points each, which is also, coincidentally, exactly how many points Seattle has let up in the playoffs so far. And the Rams lost 2 out of their last 3 games in the regular season. They are not the same Rams. They do not have the same offensive line. They're not healthy. They've gone through the gauntlet, and I'm not sure if they're going to be physically ready to go into Seattle and beat the Seahawks on their home turf. That's really what it comes down to for me, right? Seattle, for me, is the better team. I don't know if there's any gaping holes that's immediately apparent. We cannot say the same thing about the Rams. They have been leaky. Now, granted, they were able to tighten up their defense in the red zone, but they're allowing teams into the red zone. Teams are scoring on the Rams. I think that the only reason why the Rams are still in this is because of Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, Sean McVay, right, and Matthew Stafford. They are able, in their very veteran world, to be able to see the situation, get the ball, and take their opportunities. Seattle's defense, though, is built different, and I don't know if he's going to be able to just run over the field with them. I just don't. I think Kenneth Walker, to be fair, they're missing half of their dynamic duo, but I think Kenneth Walker is going to have a huge game against the leaky Rams defense. And I think that if they're able to get the run game going, I don't think that anyone's going to be able to stop them. I just don't. It's
Yeah.
kind of the same strategies from the first game. Oh, sorry for cutting you off.
No, that's fine. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Continue.
It's really kind of the same strategy as the first game, where both defenses are going to disguise pressure, try to force mistakes by both QBs. And by the way, Stafford, granted, he played incredibly efficient last game, but he was throwing interceptions and giving turnovers just a few games before that, right? It's got to be defense, force the opponent to be one-dimensional. And if you can force the opponent to be one-dimensional, then you're going to see success by whoever is able to do that. But I think that this game goes within one score each way. Let me give my best bets out for all of the NFL. For the Patriots Broncos, I have the Patriots -4.5. I am taking the line. In the Rams-Seattle game, I'm going to take Seattle plus 7.5 and Rams plus 7.5 at minus 115. And then parlayed across both games, I'm taking Seattle plus 7.5 and the Patriots minus 2.5, like you mentioned before. Any thoughts? Any last thoughts on the NFL before we head to college basketball?
No, I just think those are really great looks. Absolutely, 100% sharp plays there. And like we were talking about, it's just Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua. What do you do with them, right? And then Seattle on the other side. This is a Cooper Cup revenge game. It's the Cooper Cup with the Seahawks now. In a nice revenge spot. Is he going to be featured at all? I'm interested to see what his player props end up being. I wonder if they try to get him involved. I mean, probably not. I don't think you really want to try to force things to a player when you have a shot at a Super Bowl, but just something I might be taking a look at just to see, if I
I
can find some value there.
I love Cooper Cup. I took him in DFS already. I have a few lineups created already. I really think that the primary read for each team is going to be shut down by the opposing defense. So I think Puka Nacua will be, and you've seen teams have success with this lately. You're going to try to see, and against Seattle, honestly, both teams have had their number one wide receiver shut down for the most part during this postseason. Now, Puka Nacua is just an unreal level of talent, and he's going to get his catches. But if he gets less than 8 catches and under 100 yards, I think you can find that as consider that a success. And I think the same thing for Jackson Smith and Jigba, right? If he has under 6, 7 catches and under 90 to 100 yards, you're going to call that a success. And either of those scenarios happen, you're going to have those secondary players like Cooper Cup have at least 3 or 4 catches.
Yeah,
There's no way that you're able to remain competitive without using those middle players.
yeah, no, for sure. And then one final thought for me before we move on. We were just one interception away from this being a much more exciting game for me. My Chicago Bears should be here right now, but you know what? I'll take those sour grapes somewhere else, and we'll leave it at that.
Oh, and last lot, first touchdown score for me is AJ Barner, the big tight end. Now he did not have a catch last week, but that's the reason why I rank him here. He had 2 touchdowns in the previous 3 games, including a game against the Rams. I rank him to get the first touchdown score at plus 1200 over on ESPN. Now let's bring Drew in and talk college basketball. Drew, how you doing? Take yourself off mute, and you should be ready to go.
So before I go, I actually do have a take on the Pacers and Broncos game you guys mentioned. So I do like the Thunder minus 15.5, especially since if you look at the travel spot for the Pacers, and bridging with from like Detroit to 76ers, and now they travel from Philadelphia to Oklahoma City. And this is the first, I love taking teams when it's the first home game back from a long road trip like the Thunder. I don't see the Thunder having any business but to blow them out by 30 plus, honestly. And the Pacers, in my opinion, it's just second to last game on the road trip because after this, they have to travel, I believe, all the way to Atlanta, especially in the weather that's going to be going on. I don't know if they'll be able to travel personally to Atlanta, but because there's a lot of college basketball games too that are being canceled and got moved today or being canceled in general. So I like the Thunder there. I don't know what you guys think after me saying that.
Oh, I'm on the Thunder. Minus 15.5 at minus
Yeah.
115 juice on over on MGM. That was my best. That is my best play of
Yeah,
the day.
because I love taking teams the first game home off a road trip. I just love that. That's a good spot. But for the Broncos game, the one reason I'm wary of this, and the research I did was so something that I thought about. One, Drake May has fumbled 5 times. He didn't lose all of them the last 2 games, and technically the Broncos do have the best pass rush with like the most sacks this year, and it worries me with Drake May for that purpose. And it might be Sly Stowe with the altitude. And something I factor into, which I think is very important, in my opinion, is that the Patriots have faced the 2 of the worst O lines in the playoffs so far, but now they're facing this rated the second best O line in the playoffs, and they're going to Denver probably with Sly Snow and Jared Stidham has thrown, he can throw it. He's had interception issues, but he's had a couple games where he's had 250 plus passing yards his short career. So that's where I'm worried about the 4.5, just because of the discrepancy of who the Patriots have faced and the O lines and how many times Drake May has fumbled, and he's facing the best pass rush he has faced yet. So
Yeah, I think that's valid. Very, very valid points. Honestly, my feelings on that is I'm really hoping that Vrabel since he had that, it's just like a team that gets blown out the game before. Usually the next game they kind of step it up a little bit. I'm really hoping that Vrabel works with May to keep his focus on the ball, to limit exposure to making mistakes. After seeing that multiple times in the last few games, but you're right. All the young QBs in the playoffs this season, this postseason, have made multiple mistakes, and I honestly, that's why we're not seeing Houston here.
Oh yeah, 100%. But yeah, to go to college basketball, I did place because App State's playing ULM right now. It's one of the games that got moved up because of the weather, and I think ULM is terrible. App State started up 10-0, now they're down 16-12, but I think they'll bounce back and cover my 14.5. I did. Right now it's live 11.5, but it's because ULM is just absolutely terrible, and I thought App State blow them out, but they allowed a 14-0 run, but that's college basketball. They can do it right back. But my two best bets, I place very little on App State because usually when I do 14.5 double, I don't usually like going for double digit spreads, but I probably put like $10 on it and my unit is usually 100. So, what I like though is I have two best bets for college basketball. I didn't really like anything honestly on the Marquette Butler game because I don't trust Big East games anymore at this point, man. I think Butler should destroy him, but who knows honestly with Big East games? Big East games are the weirdest. And then Ohio State laying 15, getting plus 15.5 at Michigan in a big rivalry game. But the problem with Michigan is they'll either blow them the hell out or it'll be close, and I don't trust that. And then also the Indiana at Rutgers. Indiana should blow them out, but Indiana hasn't looked good. So I'm going to stick with mid-major games. My favorite bet of the day, actually it's tied with the other one I'm going to name, is Buffalo plus 2.5 home versus UMass. I think this is Vegas completely disrespecting Buffalo. Both teams are 3-5 in their division. And Buffalo went to Miami and lost in overtime. And of course, you guys know what Miami has been doing, Miami of Ohio. They're undefeated. And then just to strengthen weaknesses. My Massachusetts is terrible. They're like one of the worst in the nation at fouling. And Buffalo is one of the best in the nation at getting to the free throw line. They get their FTA/FTGA is 43.9%. And then Massachusetts heavily relies on the three. They shoot actually in conference so far 37.3%. But Buffalo shoots 38.5%. Both defenses are not that great. Massachusetts has a slight defensive edge, but where Buffalo's worse at their defense is the 2 points. But you know what? Massachusetts is terrible at 2 points, and they have the same size advantage. And then Massachusetts turns over the ball a lot, right? Buffalo doesn't turn over the ball a lot. They're one of the best at not in conference. So with Buffalo home, I really don't see why they're underdogs at plus 2.5. My model says they should be favored around 2 or 3, so I'll take Buffalo plus 2.5 easily.
Yep, I think that's a sharp play. The sharp money is with you. 78.94% of the money is with you. So I think that's the play. Going to play it. And by the way, tough beat yesterday on you.
Oh yeah,
What was it?
UNCW, they forgot how to play the first half. They were down at 20. So one of my buddies that I'm friends with, he didn't want to watch the game, and he said, I looked at the shooting chart for UNCW. That's not UNCW play, right? And UNCW just ran out of time because you brought it within 7,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. They were down 42-28 in the first half, and I actually sprinkled plus 14 or 15 or something like that, and I was like, all right, you know what I mean? At least I didn't lose
Yeah,
anything.
I did plus 10.5, so I made my money back.
Yeah. Which, by the way, you got to tweet those out so that we can all follow you
Yeah,
live. But yeah, it was definitely a tough beat, and if they if they just had a little
if they
bit more
just knew
time.
how to play basketball the first half.
Yeah. And we got a question from Brad Betts about how you eat your pizza. Do you eat it folded or without the fold?
Very important. Very
Without the
important
fold.
answer here. Yes.
As an Italian, I eat it normally.
What's normal?
Oh, it's just you just eat. You hold the crust and you eat it.
Can you describe it for us? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, for sure. And now I want pizza.
Yeah, right.
Personally, I'll eat usually the first quarter of it normal, and then I like to eat the crust with the pizza.
Yes.
because I lived in Milwaukee during some formidable years, and Chicago is the real only place near there to get real food. Chicago deep style pizza is my favorite pizza of all time. I am heavily lactose intolerant, but once or twice a year I'll suffer for a deep dish pizza, or at least something that I consider. But if I eat pizza, I would like it to have as much crust as possible, if I can.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you, Stern. 100%, dude. There's so much great deep dish pizza here in Chicago. So many good places around here. So it's a deep dish pizza heaven for sure. But yeah, I eat my pizza the same way as you. I like to eat the first quarter of it, or what I say, maybe the first three quarters of it regularly, and then I love to like fold it up with the crust at the end, so I get a little bit of the pizza with the crust because I don't like eating the crust by itself. I don't know. Shout out to Papa John's. They got that garlic sauce. Sometimes I'll dip it in that, so at least I have something to eat with the crust. But otherwise, if there's like no dipping sauce, no like marinara or anything, I don't know. I don't really like eating the crust by itself, so I'll do the same thing and I'll just fold it up with the crust. So very important information. Thank you, Brad. Brilliant question. I'm so glad we were able to cover that here on the Only Bet Sports podcast.
Also, if you, I agree with you. Don't eat the crust without some of the pizza with it. But if you don't eat the crust, you're dead to me.
Yeah, no, I'll eat it. I mean, if I have to, like, yeah, I'm not gonna throw it out. So if there's nothing, if I, if I, ate too much of the pizza and I was like, oh man, there's only crust left, I'll still eat it. I won't enjoy it, but I'll eat it because I don't like throwing it away. But yeah, man, that would be my take on the pizza eating
Sorry, Drew.
procedure.
We got distracted. And
Oh,
Please,
you're
please,
good. Hey, I never mind
continue
talking
with
about
college
pizza.
basketball, please, please.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. And before I go to my last best straight, honestly, this last straight I'm going to say is probably my favorite. It makes me giddy inside thinking about what it is right now. But before I do that, I'll do a quick, and I'll of course type this out and send it to you. I'll do a quick one of those, juiced money line ones, right? The ones that I like to combine for close to plus money as possible. The first one I would say is St. Louis money line at minus 380, with North Texas money line at minus 600. Right there, you get 213. And then personally, I do like, I think Indiana wins, but I don't want to necessarily take the minus 6.5 because Big Ten games can have backdoor covers. But then Indiana at minus 278 should equal plus 100. So those are my three favorite. Like, if you want to parlay and get a double up. So
yeah,
I would
when you
say,
make that parlay, send it over to me with the juice, and I'll definitely
yeah.
add it to the betting screen at the end. Which, by the way, has looked incredibly nice. If any of you go on Spotify, I added our betting screen to the episodes, the podcast episode, and it shows up while you're watching it. So if you're curious about what our bets are while you're listening, you can just look at the screen. It's
Oh, that's awesome.
phenomenal. And yes, and if you guys can all send me your picks, and if anybody listening either A wants to be on the podcast, please join us in Twitter Spaces right now, or in the future, and send me your plays, and I'll definitely add it in. We have an article sent out by SternBets, me, every single day, and I add in as much information as I can. Let's just recap your bets real quick, Drew. We're gonna give my best bets, and then you're
Oh,
gonna hand it off
so
to
so
Stern.
so I actually have my
Oh,
last best
so sorry.
straight
Yeah, go for
real
it.
quick. So this one I love. This line is moving weird. I would still take it at minus 4.5, but it went from minus 4.5, minus 115 to minus 108. But Utah State at Colorado State. So this one, right? People think it's a revenge game because they lost, but you know what? I believe in revenge games, but not when you lose to the team 100 to 58 last time. That's where revenge games go out the window to me. Colorado State's a very weird team. They'll lose to Fresno State, but then they'll beat GCU at home. But that's where you can't really look at, head to head, because there's just a big mismatch here. And they're going to Fort Collins. And like, Fort Collins' biggest advantage is 4,900 feet of elevation. Guess what? Utah State is used to that because Utah State, their college is 4,700 of elevation. I just think Utah State, after losing back-to-back games they probably shouldn't have, this is a great buy low spot to them. Because personally, this spread should be like minus 10.5 Utah State. And I don't see Utah State being one of the top teams in their division losing this game at all by any means. And if they win this game, I think they're going to blow them out. Like I said, last time they faced them was 42 points. And usually for revenge factor games, at most I'll give is like 15 points or so. So give me Utah State minus 4.5. Or if you want to, and you think they're going to go wire to wire, you can do halftime, full time for plus 100. The risk with that is if it's tied at halftime, you don't get it. But honestly, I like both of those plays.
Yep, Sharp Money agrees with you. 68% of it. Yeah, I like it. And also you get to fade the public in this one. So definitely on this. By the way, Houston covered last night. These leans that I have are insane. I really wish I put more than a quarter unit on them.
Oh yeah, exactly. And then there was one play that I wish I did for college basketball, and I need to trust my instincts more. Was North Dakota plus 1.5? They demolished Oral Roberts. Oral Roberts is terrible. But overall, though, I'll say looking into the week, like there's some games tomorrow, but like for example, the one game I was interested in was Houston, Texas at 12 tomorrow. But I'm gonna be honest, Texas Tech, I don't think that game's gonna happen. I think the weather's gonna officially cancel that game. So. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually went for a run this morning here in Philadelphia and slipped on the ice that is still on the ground. Kind of hurt my back and my knee, so that's going to be fun. But looking forward to the
Stay
weekend.
safe.
Yeah, this is going to be 12 to 24 inches over here. My wife, I didn't believe her when she first told me. But anyway, yeah.
Hitting 35 plus states.
Yeah, that's really insane.
It's like Game of Thrones.
Yeah. I do have two pieces of news that I want to get to, but let's recap your best bets one more time, Drew, and then we'll get
Yep.
to Prince of Picks and my own picks as well.
Yep. Recap my best bets. Buffalo, I got at plus 1.5, but you know what's better value now? Plus 2.5. I think they went outright. And then Utah State minus 4.5. That game's at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 10 p.m. Eastern. So it'll be kind of a wake and cash if you go to sleep, hopefully. And then my last one was going to be the overall lay. It was the North Texas money line, St. Louis money line, and Indiana money line combined for plus money. If you want, you can add extra little spread value for Indiana. But yeah, that's my best bets.
Fantastic. Thanks, Drew, man. And I really appreciate you coming on. You've really been, I mean, honestly, an integral part of our show. And I'm going to start putting you in all our promos too. Prince of Picks, I agree. And we talked about at least two of your NBA plays that I am also on. You have a third plus a soccer play. Give us the recap.
Yeah, so we'll go ahead and start off with the soccer play here. Just one play for me on the pitch today. We're going to the Bundesliga here. We got a 2:30 p.m. Eastern kickoff where we got St. Pauli taking on Hamburg. I'm going to be on St. Pauli here on a draw bet that's at minus 110. I'm going to take them to win with push insurance against a Hamburg team that is winless in 9 straightaway matches. So again, St. Pauli draw bet minus 110 for me. Then we'll go and head out to the hard court here, the hardwood court. We're going to a 7:30 p.m. Eastern tip where the Suns are taking on the Hawks. I like the Suns here to cover the minus 2.5 spread. You get it around minus 118. Suns are the number one team against the spread in the league this season. So I expect them to continue that trend again tonight. Again, that is Suns minus 2.5 at minus 118. Our next play is going to be the Celtics at the next. Give me the Celtics here to cover an 8.5 point spread. That's Celtics minus 8.5. That one's at minus 105. Celtics 64% ATS as a road favorite, and they have won 9 straight in Brooklyn by an average of 15 points. So again, Celtics minus 8.5 at minus 105. And then finally here we got the Nuggets taking on the Milwaukee Bucks. I'm all over the Nuggets here, plus 6.5 minus 115. Denver, they're 6-1 against the spread as a road dog this season. The Bucks just 26% ATS versus the Western Conference. We've already spoken all the problems that Milwaukee is having right now. So give me the team with the championship pedigree in the Denver Nuggets, the deeper roster here at 6.5 points, minus 115 for that one.
Yeah, and if either the Celtics or the Mavs don't cover, you can blame that on me for being interested in it as well. For me, and we're going to get to Brad Bett's next question, which I think is a fun one. For me, it's Oklahoma City Thunder minus 15.5. I'm taking the huge spread at minus 115 over on MGM. I just don't think that the Pacers can really be close. And in the NFL, I am taking the Patriots minus 4.5. I got this at minus 122 before the number moved, but the number moved back down. So you can get this at near minus 110 juice, I believe now. I'm taking the Seahawks plus 7.5, parlay with the Rams plus 7.5 at minus 115. I think that this game ends within a touchdown in either direction. and then I took a parlay of the sorry, I wrote it wrong in my notes. Patriots minus 2.5 parlayed with the Seahawks plus 7.5. I do think that they are rightly favored, even though the Rams have the experience on the field. But the next question, I should say, of the day is soup an appetizer or a piece of the meal? And my answer is I think it's very much like salad. You're not going to eat it for a meal, or you shouldn't eat it for a meal. And I know I'm going to get some blowback on this, but it's a nice to accompany a meal.
100%. You should never eat soup as a meal. I don't think I've ever sat down and say, what I'm gonna have for dinner? A bowl of soup. Not once in my life. So 100% appetizer for me. If you're someone that eats soup as a meal, shout out to you. Yeah, I don't know how you stay full, but not for me. I'm gonna need something else with it. At least one more.
That'd be some really good ramen.
Right. some banger ramen. There, we use banger. We gotta use banger every day, Stern. So there we go. We got the word banger in. We got the word banger in for today. We're on a roll here. 5 days in a row using banger. But yeah, man, no.
I'm too darn big for that to be a meal. I'm 6'2", 220.
Thank you.
What are you gonna do?
Okay, I think. All right, Brad. Great question. If you're like maybe under the age of 12, like maybe 12 and under, maybe soup is a meal for you. Other than that, I can't see a grown adult sitting down to a bowl of tomato soup and saying, "All right, I'm full. Let's go watch some TV." I don't know.
No, although one of my favorite things to get when I was a teenager was the Panera Bread Bowl, the soup bread bowl. That was amazing. That was great.
Yeah, but at least you got some bread with it, though. I mean, bread can be filling at times. I mean, even for me, I no thanks. Like I still eat something else, but that's a great question, Brad. Thanks.
I will say I come from a very Jewish family, and we have a good tradition of chicken soup, and I do enjoy it. It's just not a meal for me.
Please keep those hard hitting questions coming. We love answering these very relevant food questions. So
yes.
Keep them coming.
Yes, we do. I have two last points to make. One, because I'm a Yankee fan and I can't not mention it. Cody Bellinger looks like he's coming back to the Yankees, although the damage may have been done with just the public spats. It's just not good for the Yankees. The Dodgers are definitely taking the lead, and I think that if the Yankees want to compete with the Dodgers in getting top level talent, they're just going to have to go for it. Screw this. It's a business. No, go get your talent. Go pay them. Go make them feel comfortable. Bring them in. Win some games. And boost your pitching, please. Also, one last piece of advice: don't place your NFL bets the day before, the day of any of the games from now on. The market is moving. The public is on these bets. The numbers that you can get now is already gone from the numbers that you could have gotten just 3 days ago. So definitely do your research. Don't panic bet. The numbers will move. All of these games, I think, are going to be lower scoring, slower move, I guess faster moving, but running games for sure that will automatically lower the totals of receiving props, scoring props. So you don't feel pressure to put the bets out now. Wait for the game, bet live. And for the Super Bowl, don't bet the week of the Super Bowl. Bet the week before the Super Bowl if you have any leans or want to play anything. Don't get caught up in taking the bad number. It's basically like buying a shirt for 20% more than you had to. There's no reason to do it. Just wait until you can get a price the way you want to. But PrinceOfPicks, you want to close us off for the day?
Yeah, absolutely. So before we get out of here, guys, just a couple of official notes to take care of here. One for myself, if you guys are interested in more plays from me, you guys can check out my pinned post on my X profile. That's at PrinceOfPicks10, where you can find out information about the VIP channel, where I do post plays every day in soccer, basketball, and other sports as well. So be sure to check out that if you guys are interested. And another thing here, real quick, if you guys can do us a solid, we mentioned this at the beginning of the podcast. We'll mention it again here at the end. Please head on over to Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Take a look at our podcast. It's called OnlyBets Sports Podcast. Put that in the search engine. It'll pop up. Just give us a quick rating, 5-star rating. Give us a quick review. Hit the subscribe, like button, and give us a follow on there. I would really appreciate all of your support. It helps with the algorithm here, getting our podcast out to other people. and making it more visible, and helping with the growth of the channel podcasting community as well. So I really appreciate all you guys' help. Again, you guys have been outstanding this first week. We've had an unbelievable amount of downloads, way more than we ever
151 in 4 days.
way more than we ever expected. It's about quadruple the amount of what's typically defined as a good start. So we are off and flying here in our first official week of this brand new podcast. So shout out to you guys. Thanks for everything you guys have been doing for us. And we would continue to appreciate all the support that you guys can give us. So, Stern, did you have anything else before I send us out of here?
No, I just interrupted you again. I just wanted to say 151 downloads in the first 4 days. That's
unbelievable. That is unbelievable, considering we've had virtually no promotion, no advertising, anything along those lines. So, shout out to you guys. Thanks again for all that you guys do. And hey, let's take this money train straight to the pay window. With that being said, I'm Prince of Picks at SternBets. We will see you guys next time. Thanks for joining us. Peace.